name is Ron Clemente, and I live at 331 South Street.
You submitted this today.
And I submitted that
okay.
to the planning board.
You don't.
Haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
This is planning board or?
I mean, excuse me, zoning board.
Okay.
When he gets here.
Yeah, Justin needs a whole, when he,
Okay, yeah, I guess you can make a statement, but we can't really talk about this until it gets officially.
Well, how does that happen?
We have to, this has to be done on a hearing.
okay, cause,
I'm so sorry.
every
Yeah.
kid gets those.
Because we brought that paperwork in today to the town office.
Right.
So is there a reason why, we thought we would have it heard tonight.
This has to be done in the hearing, and the hearing has to be noticed.
Okay.
It has to be posted that we're having it, so everybody
Okay.
knows.
So.
Okay, and.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Well, it's, whenever he gets settled down here.
I know,
let's
I'm
get some
sorry.
questions. It's all right. We're waiting for Justin too.
Okay, good. I'm not the last one here.
He's stuck in traffic though.
Well, I could say that I had an excuse, but I really don't, so I apologize. Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's why we can't really talk about it, because it needs to be done in a public hearing.
Okay. So do you know what that means exactly?
Not
Okay. So you'll come in well, this is an application that you filled out. I forgot my glasses today. We have to take this notice of abutters
Okay,
that you
yeah.
gave us.
Yeah.
And we have to mail a letter out to all of them with certified mail,
Yep.
telling them the date of the hearing.
Okay.
And once you have a hearing date that fits into the laws of notice, then we can have that hearing, and your neighbors and everybody listed on that piece of paper will be here if they have an interest,
Okay.
and then we can have a public hearing,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
So you take it in this.
Sorry.
You have to pay for this application, you have to pay.
I have an invoice ready, but I just have a question.
Yeah, really?
I'm sorry. So it's, they don't have the amount of abutters that was listed. And I think it was 8 abutters, but it's only 4 that are abutting his property.
Okay.
Since I see 7, so 5 are, can you tell us which 2 aren't? Should it be noticed?
It's
You have that?
these
What?
4 are on the list.
We'll basically do a review on the application if you want.
Sure.
And then, yeah, that's what I figured you guys would do, but,
Yeah, we can do that.
they also abut the town of Fitzwilliam. So I don't know how you would,
Yeah, I think you have to notify people, anybody.
like,
that
the
touches
town
Yeah,
notify?
You have to send the town a message,
Okay, I
basically.
can do it.
Or another certified, they have to receive one as well, because if they have any issues with it, they still have to be notified.
Anybody else wants to write down the lots that are
Is that
legitimate?
town property that you abut,
No,
Fitzwilliam County? It's actually,
I don't know who
no,
it is.
it's, the back of my property, the borderline is the actual borderline
Mhm.
between Troy and Fitzwilliam, and there's all houses there on Rockwood Pond.
Okay.
So do I tell the town and then they tell the people, or what? I don't exactly
See the
remember.
book, the big book, please.
I think that you should notify them.
Yeah, I think they should be notified, just like.
Even
they
though
were
they're in
before.
another town, they still have it, that they have the right to come in and speak about it.
Right.
And the only way they know about it is if they're noticed. So it's 14.
Yes, 14.
This is a little different, but this is actually good. Help make sure your application is ready to go.
I just don't know who
14.
to be, I think.
Is the
Two or
subject
12?
parcel?
Yeah, this is, no,
That's yours, 14-2 is your
Number
map
12.
of lot.
Yeah.
to be.
2B,
So this is still him, it's contiguous. This is the
well,
property line.
no.
I mean, this is the town line, right?
No, just hold on. This is the town line here. This is South Street.
Yeah.
This is the property. It's a small spot right here, right here. So
Maybe
they've got
2B.
1, 12C, 2. And then whoever's on this side. The problem is, we don't know who this is. So actually, I don't think you actually do need to notify anyone on the other side of it pertaining exactly, because we don't know who that is. We don't have their town maps, we don't have who that is, or the property owners or any of that.
I have all that, we have all that, if you want that done.
I would wanna get an opinion on that if we're gonna say that they don't need to do it.
Yeah, we probably should reach out to the attorney to figure out that anyways, but, because being as they are literally on the line, is half your property,
They are all,
And
there's also
Fitzwilliam?
public service.
No, the
That's,
back,
that's a right of way. I don't
Yes.
think that's.
650 foot back
Yeah.
They
line
don't own the property. they
is
just have a
the
right of way
border.
over there.
between Fitzwilliam and Troy.
okay, so this whole back side of yours, the 650 feet is the border line.
Yes,
So you're 2B, so you've got this small little parcel right here,
Yeah.
not small, but 13.2 acres.
Yeah.
It's small on the map.
yes,
So you've got this part, and you've got 3 people who let you in the town of Troy.
Yeah.
Property 1, 12C,
Sorry.
and 2.
Right.
And then whoever is here on the Fitzwilliam side.
Yeah.
So with that one, I have to tend to agree with Steve on this. We're gonna have to figure out, we'll reach out to the attorney and figure out if we have to notify them of anything that goes on
Okay.
or not, because being as it's, we don't actually know who that is, so that would be coming, we'd have to go, or you'd have to fill out the information,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, you'd go to Fitzwilliam for their town map.
Yeah, I get all that from them, yeah, we did.
Okay.
So, yeah, cause this, the water we're talking about is coming from 12C. So this is the parcel that we're discussing, that's why I put down all these people here.
yeah, we're speaking to the water
To
that's
the
coming off the
subdivision.
subdivision. The new
So that's why we were
subdivision
talking to
located.
that, that's why I wrote down then, see.
So it doesn't pertain to your property then?
No, it's the subdivision's water coming onto his property.
Which
12
is
C.
destroying.
No, 2B,
Is this a new subdivision?
yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
the new one on, the old green farm.
They're appealing that decision, that administrative
yeah.
decision to allow that subdivision. That's what this looks like to me.
Yes,
Until they figure out the water.
because Troy has 4 culverts
Mhm.
going underneath South Street, coming from the subdivision, draining water on my property. Right now, it's inundating my property. My wetlands are increasing since they have now deforested. You know, they've got many trees down. It's gotten even worse, and the
Oh,
water
yeah, you
is,
got more runoff.
well, yes, and now it's encroaching upon my septic system.
Yeah,
Is this the right forum for this? I mean,
We tried the planning board and the planning board took the developer's word and they never even made a site visit. And the developer told the planning board that, oh, all of that land there slopes towards South Main Street. So we're gonna send all the water to South Main Street. Well, I beg to differ because
So basically, they need a culvert along South Main Street to
they
divert the water.
need to keep the water on their side of South Street.
Basically, they'd have to build up they'd have to build up here, because it's
Yeah.
not coming to South Main Street. I know that one.
Yeah, but, or put a culvert along here and keep it off the other property and deal with it someplace else.
Yeah, because they're,
Something
yeah,
Yeah.
they're trespassing with the
with
water.
water.
And now I've got trees uprooting and falling over.
So,
And there's obviously going to be an increase in water coming under the street. And I'm trying to figure out why, you know, he's saying there is no, he meaning the developer, told the planning board, there is no problem. Well, I can't see town Troy spending the money to put in 4 culverts if there was no problem with water on that side of South
Yeah,
Street.
and they're in that one section of his land. four.
All four
culverts.
culverts are draining right on my
Right
property.
there.
Alright, so let's get some basic stuff. Are you appealing the decision of the planning board to grant the subdivision?
Yes.
Till we find out.
So-
Okay, that's why that's there. When was that done?
That was done April 7th, it was,
Yeah, this morning we brought it in,
no,
No, when was the actual decision that made
on
it?
March 18th.
oh,
March 18th.
So we're
Okay, so
within,
we're in the 30 days.
We're- we're-
That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
first
Yeah,
question.
yeah,
I
yeah.
already spoke to an attorney and
Uh-huh,
he said get it filed.
Okay, your attorney recommended coming to the ZBA with it?
Yes.
yep.
Okay.
And soon as online says, go to ZBA, because Superior Court's gonna say, you know, how many years you got all this stuff all done. So we're hoping that you can talk to the developer and have, make sure the water's going the other way, or not on his land, or he's
Is
gonna,
the developer
we don't know. who it
property
is.
owner of record on that now?
Yeah, I think Van Dyke is the property owner,
Jocelyn?
and then,
So he would get notified as an abutter?
yeah, I went down there,
Okay.
as a
Yeah,
butter.
it was Josh Jocelyn that was presenting this.
Okay.
See, and the.
And it's been raining a lot.
Well, no, but this has been going on, let's see, the last owners of the Green Farm, the Dowlers, Ed decided he was going to log part of his land for financial gain. When he started logging, within 2 or 3 months, my wetlands were beginning to increase. Now with the builder there, the developer, he took out even more.
Trees,
So
more trees,
it's gotten
So you're
even
probably
worse.
getting half its topsoil, too.
right,
Right,
yeah, well.
and when
you
he
don't
starts,
allow it.
yeah, when he starts putting the houses in and the driveways, and that's the other thing, if you stand on South Street and you look at the land that they are going to build on, it is elevated above the street level. And they spoke to that at the planning board. But then they, on revision number 3 or 4 of this site that they were gonna do,
Right, the different, how they're.
now they got all these gradient areas that they're gonna regrade all the property. Well, they're gonna regrade it so it's a little lower, so it's even with South Street. So I'm gonna get even more water. And like I say, I don't even know why the town allowed the culverts to go in the first place, because it is trespassing by water. You can't take water from somebody else's property.
Yeah, I mean,
Put it on.
culverts sort of have to go someplace.
Right, but not onto another person's property.
Well, no, they're allowed to if it's been put in before the time, because the culvert is to prevent the road from being washed out.
Yep.
If you wanna pay for the road to be washed out every single rainy season, they could take the culverts out and then you have to fork the bill every time a culvert, the road is wiped out. The culverts are there to prevent the roads from being wiped out.
Okay,
The
so,
natural water is naturally gonna flow down. So I have the same thing on my property, and I live on Long Meadow. There are 3 natural springs that come up, that come from everything else melting, and comes through my yard. My yard, this big rainstorm, was literally a river,
But does,
and washed out most of my plants. I deal with it.
but does the law allow a developer to change the topography to increase that flow and cause additional damage?
That's the gray area. So that, he should be putting in something of swale, what do they call it?
Yeah, yeah.
Swales, to prevent it from going and being more. It's supposed to keep it at what it's currently at. Now, that's the whole point, that the planning board was supposed to go and visit the site and check on that. And see in the plans, do you guys have the plans?
I got a
Scan of it?
copy of it. And that's the copy over there.
All right,
No,
so it's not, you know, he's not against him.
Yeah, they can do the building, I don't care.
Just watch the water.
I just don't want any more damage to my property.
yeah,
Because we're not
I'm just
talking
trying to
about-
figure out or something, making sure that you're asking for the right thing, so when we
Mhm.
formally get it, we can say,
Because
okay,
you can't
you're good
wash
to go,
it yourself.
or
Man,
it's not what you want, right?
Right,
But
Yeah,
this,
and
Try
also-
to make sure it goes smoothly when we go to.
this,
yes.
Yeah,
they're
the
coming this way.
Oh, this is
the
the
other
one they want to
problem
split
is
up
the
in.
culverts that
This
have
is the
been
hill, so
there
it comes this way.
that are
So no matter what, the water comes this way.
But if it's already
The
increased.
problem with the culverts that are there, they were for when it was farmland and
Yeah,
trees and
farms.
everything, and there
But
wasn't
then
a lot of
of course,
water.
okay.
So now those culverts are definitely gonna be undersized. So the biggest problem I think that he has, besides trees falling over and things like that, correct me if I'm wrong, is that it is encroaching on his leach field. You can see the water out the window, and you can go all about 100 feet from that line of water, there's wetlands anyway, which is another issue. The wetlands to the edge of his leach field over the berm. So more water comes through there, then what does he do about his occupancy in his leach field and
And-
septic?
That would be
So-
the issue I would see.
Yeah, and the secondary,
The fact that there's,
It affects the leach
Yeah.
field.
yeah,
Because then that'll have the chance of, well, that makes it.
Contaminating wetlands.
Yeah,
Destroying
contaminating
his
wetlands.
field.
And
And-
who is charged with it?
secondary side of this is the encroachment of the water happens to be on, you know, when they file the septic system plans, they give you an auxiliary place for a leach field.
Mhm.
That's where
Mm,
the wetlands are now.
where all the extra water is just.
this is your alternate site.
Yes, by the developer or by the septic system design person. So I can't even
We're gonna get
move,
into some interesting stuff.
yeah, so I can't even
Yeah.
subsequently say, okay, I can deal with it, I can move my leach
Yeah,
field.
you can go to the
I-
alternate
No,
site.
because the secondary site
Underwater.
is getting water on it, and I can't go to the right, because it's nothing but, it's a wall of ledge.
Okay,
Yeah,
did you have your attorney draw up this text here?
No.
No,
he said just go to the zoning board and they'll file the paperwork you need.
Okay, cause first of all, I can't read it,
Oh, sorry,
but that's okay.
I'm trying to make it up for you.
I mean,
Oh, you don't have
if
glasses.
if you wanna do an attachment onto this, that's
Okay.
fine.
I forgot my glasses in
You
there.
know, the application is an application, but if you wanna attach a sheet with more details.
oh, okay, sure.
That's always fine. And so you're trying to get his subdivision plan rejected.
It's not.
No, I don't wanna stop him from building,
You
because,
want changes.
because that's gonna look like we're just doing this to oppose it.
Yes.
And that's not what we're doing. We just wanna make sure that the liability and the responsibility is laid upon them to protect our property.
It sounds to me like the developer needs to fix the problem that they're having because he's causing the problem.
It's gonna
Well,
increase.
they technically don't have to fix it unless it gets kicked
But
back.
if it's
Planning board.
gonna interfere with his leach field, then
The
you're running
culverts
into
are gonna
other
be
issues.
undersized too, if they're gonna plan on using those culverts. See, way back in the day, if you go up there for a site visit, you'll see there's no like trench or ditch. Just they banked it beautifully, so the road and everything just goes right down into where the culverts are and everyone's hunky-dory. But now, they're gonna change that, there's no culvert down South Street, you see, so.
Yeah.
In order to stop that developer though,
They were
the decision
Okay,
has to be
yeah,
back
if you
to
could,
the planning
if you
board.
just do an attachment and
development.
documentation is always good. If you have any pictures of how it was
Okay.
before versus now or
Okay.
something like that, or
Frankly, you would
Take-
have to
They,
change.
do you have like a
when we dealt with it.
plat of your property? A map?
Yeah,
If you could draw it on there where the wetlands
Oh,
have
yeah.
changed, I think that would be very useful.
Okay, cool.
yeah, cause I've owned this for 30 years. And I filed where the original small wetlands were from the existing culverts. Now they're much larger. And it's all happened within the last
Increased flow.
5 to 8 years, when Ed started deforestation, and then now that the builder or the developer has done his magic, it's gotten even worse.
So how many days left for the 30 days to, so this is filed?
This is filed.
This is
So that
filed.
now the 30 days is all set, like it doesn't have to be to get
Yeah.
back.
It
into-
is.
You guys have to hear it within 45 days of receiving it.
Okay,
So we have
45 days from
From
this
today.
application.
from today, basically.
Yeah.
Or well, once we accept it, because technically we haven't accepted it either. Just saying.
We normally,
Is there a fee
we
that goes
normally
along
in the
with
past haven't
Yes,
been
I have an
accepting
invoice
things.
drafted
We've
that
just
goes
been having
per
a
butter.
hearing.
So it's
Yeah, so this is
I
more of an
have some
acceptance
questions.
discussion.
I understand,
Right.
okay, so this hasn't been accepted yet by the town.
It has been accepted by the town because it's stamped with the selectman's office.
That's when it was received. They haven't paid for the fee for
Right.
us to hear this yet.
Okay, so they're still still have time to.
So it's an incomplete application and the clock doesn't start ticking until it's complete.
Okay,
Right.
how much money you want? I gotta write it.
Stop.
I don't
ticking.
know yet.
Okay.
I need to know how many butters there are before I can.
Oh.
I would suggest if you wanna stop the clock, to add the abutters on, and if we don't need to notify them, then they can refund some of the fee. And I wanna make sure you get this heard, I don't want you to
Right,
get,
right.
Okay.
I mean,
Exactly,
to
exactly.
lose the ability on a
If you
technicality.
have too many abutters, that's
Yeah.
not, grounds
yeah.
to like,
And
No.
if
Dismiss
there-
it.
No,
too little.
No,
What are
Too
you like?
many.
right.
Charles?
So long as everybody that's
Go ahead.
affected by it gets noticed.
if they're no, in a butter, they noting for the appeal of a decision, it's just going to be noticing all of the abutters of the decision property.
I think so.
You think you gotta go around the other side?
Yeah, I think it has to be based on the 12.
Because they're complaining on that property,
Yeah.
property is their property.
So it would be the ones they had listed.
All right, well, that
And
makes,
there is-
that makes things easier because
Then you don't have to worry
there,
about
there's no
Fitzwilliam.
Fitzwilliam in that
Right.
case.
There is
So your original list was everybody around that property,
Right.
correct?
one
Okay, so
property at
that's-
the corner that we
So
almost,
let's just check those off and then you can
Yeah.
yeah,
make this official.
that one,
The ones that are
that
shoot.
came up during,
Okay, 15A. 15A.
I just want to make sure.
Make sure you get that one in there, 13.
the,
I have a circle one.
I can't see your circles.
I'm sorry.
I'm way over here. So 13,
I-
15,
15A,
21,
oh yeah, 21.
12B,
Oh, that's an extra.
23. So this, so
Cause it's like,
23,
Oh,
12,
yeah.
you got 20, 12B. You've got, it goes to right here, so you technically need 2E,
Yep.
2, 2B. Sorry, you get to know by yourself,
Yep,
and then 1.
And then one, okay.
So we got 1,
And
2,
then-
Well,
3,
I mean,
4,
We have to
Five.
notify the people.
technically, this is,
7.
if this is another property, then this is
8,
another butter, technically.
That's not another power, that's the power line swap. That's the easement.
yeah, and the easement goes through the
Okay.
subject property from up there.
So 1, 2, 3,
But it has a
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
10 because of
Oh yeah, that one
the,
too.
so 10.
Sorry, I forget. I always forget the damn subject property.
No, you're
And
okay.
actually, technically, you should notify yourself too.
That was good. They
That
did
was
count.
included.
Okay. Then we got it. That comes
That's
up.
always the fun part.
It could be 23.
Yes. 23, 23. Yes, 23. So again,
Yes,
all
23.
this, all the way down here, down to the little corner.
Okay, so we're saying that their butter list is correct.
Yes, so it sounds like you might have added a couple, so you added in and for, to notify himself.
That's not on there?
No, I didn't have those. So we added him to the list?
Yes, we
Okay.
haven't accepted it, yes.
Okay, yes.
Technically,
Six, 7, which was 8. She's good with that.
it's a little weird.
Kind
But usually the property that you're dealing with is your own property.
But
This
I
is
highlights,
yours.
because I was,
The target is the other one.
so it's all of this.
And this might be something, I don't know if the selectmen even know about this, but the
Because it's,
engineer who drew
um,
the plans up for that subdivision
Okay, yeah, okay.
might ought to be notified.
And then.
Well, we know about an intent to cut.
That's 12B.
B,
Yep.
yeah. And then.
that we improved,
2B.
but the intent to cut.
But once
That's all
again,
we
it's like
have
the
on
corner.
But
property.
Okay,
I see where that's coming from, don't
2B,
you think
okay, cool.
he should be notified too?
Okay,
So,
Who's he?
The
I'm
developer?
gonna,
The engineer
I'm
Well,
gonna rewrite
that would be on,
this.
that would be on the,
on their subdivision
One,
plan.
but
no, that would be the person who,
$300
the owner of that
fee.
property would have to
Okay.
notify the
But I'm
engineer.
gonna write a new one.
It's not the
for
town's
you
job,
guys
it's not
that's
their job to notify the engineer.
normal.
It is the
Written
job of the
in
person,
head.
because we send the notice
So
out
you'll
to
have
the,
that.
This is all based on property, not
She's written on
contractors or
the-
anything.
the contractor would be them, they'd have to notify them, and the
You can have
contractor
that
you think
if
would have
you'd
thought in
like.
the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
place
okay.
was
Well,
false.
exactly, it's,
But again,
but the
it's,
planning board should have also asked that
Can we
question,
just cut the
frankly.
check
They
to
should
town,
have
Troy?
recognized that there was an issue with water there. I get it, that mistakes get made, but
But this is,
if your sewer
this is
system
still an
fails
action, an administrative decision action against the planning board.
against their decision to
Yeah.
approve that subdivision that has
Or to
created
not
this
put proper conditions on it.
hardship,
Is it
yeah.
to approve the
Yeah, perfect,
subdivision or
perfect.
to approve the
Condition.
intent to cut?
so the intent
Cause that's the
is,
only thing you said you have.
that's for the select board, the planning board approves the subdivision.
Oh, okay.
So it would be, they're appealing the decision for it, but
It would have to be the whole project.
it would be the whole project, and unfortunately, it is an appeal to that project, but they can state they want more put into it to be more,
Right.
remediation steps for, so their property doesn't get wiped out by the next big rain.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure what they're gonna do, because if they direct the water down South Street, there's nothing down there to catch it.
You don't have to put it,
They're
I
gonna
don't
have
know,
to
that's
figure
not
it
a
out.
plus really, it's do something with the
They need to
water.
figure out what they're gonna do with it, cause they can't put it on the South Main because it's going uphill. I just know, I live up that way.
Well, they could do some sort of a fire pond or something like that.
Yeah, they have to do,
relatively-
But they have to do it on their own property.
correct.
They would have to, yeah.
Okay, anything
That's
else?
gonna take engineers and surveyors to get in there, who have check elevation on everything and engineer a solution. So
You said they're grading down again.
And
Yeah,
that should
yes.
have been done.
Regraded it.
Yeah,
In the
they're,
site plan review.
after it was approved, they submitted the final documentation, and they're showing regrading of the South Street side of the property,
Which is the lowest thing.
which is that's,
The high.
that, they told the planning board, that was the higher section. So they're gonna have to regrade it to get the driveways even with South Street. And that's just gonna flow more water. It just seems like they're deceiving
Flash something.
the board, period. First, they said it was all going to go down South Main. Well, really? Then why did they install four culverts in the first place? And,
Same truck.
the culverts are active.
So the culverts though, were they installed by the town or were they installed by this developer?
They were installed by the town years and years ago.
Yeah, they call them box culverts because they're box stone.
Mhm.
That's how old they are.
Yeah, they're very well installed, just,
Yeah.
Basically, to prevent the
Misplaced.
road from getting wiped out.
Right.
yeah. But yet, like I said, we've been there for 30 years, and we've never seen the culverts overflowing, so to speak.
Cause they're doing their job properly.
Yeah, it's just a constant,
If they're overflowing, they're not doing as
Yeah.
good as they
Yeah,
should.
it-
That's what's gonna happen,
it's
yeah.
just a constant nuisance.
Just
for 'em.
sounds like a huge quantity of water is being,
Oh, it really has been lately.
They're engineering to handle the amount of water that was going through there, and now there's more water going through there.
Exactly.
So they're not gonna read it for it.
Okay,
Yes.
so if this was a building permit we're dealing with, when the appeal is put in, work stops. Does this stop work on that property?
It would stop work on any type of
Okay,
project.
so by,
So sorry, there isn't work being done on that property right now, it's just the subdivision. There's no like
right, but if
building permits or
if they're
anything.
grading or doing anything that would affect
Oh,
They have an intent to
the
cut.
property, they can't touch it.
I think that's right.
maybe a cease and desist
Yeah,
would be more appropriate.
well, let's get it filed
Just
and
until
we'll
we
do
get
all that stuff.
Yeah,
Figured out.
You're gonna have to go to the planning board with
Well,
an
that-
appropriate plan.
For a cease and desist, have to be a court.
Well,
order,
they've
though?
been approved,
No,
and so
because
that's
we
gonna
can
be a
ignore it.
slippery
But
slope.
we can look at that.
I think that's what we're gonna have to do. I mean, it sounds like there's an enormous amount of water when you start
Mm.
filling culverts and septic fields.
Okay.
Yeah, cause if they don't do anything different than what it is right now, then like he's saying, that road is gonna constantly be washed out, because the culverts are too small to take any of that.
Is it actually overtopping the road now?
No, it wouldn't.
It will if they start grading more of,
Or if you get a really, really heavy rain.
Yeah, cause see, their land goes down like this is South Street, and this is South Main Street. The land goes like, oh, like this, and you look at it and go, what are they doing? So they're gonna grade it up. So when they grade it up, and this is even with South Street, the water's gonna, I don't know what they're gonna do, but as long as we know, or he knows, that the water isn't coming into his septic field, you know what I mean?
because then I'm gonna lose my occupancy permit.
Cause we're not looking to lose friends or not into the.
Well, the big
you know
issue
what I
is,
mean?
if it damages the leach field and gets that into wetlands, that's a huge.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
what the concern is.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is a legitimate thing to do.
Yeah, we've discussed it with Jeremy, and we've discussed it with Dick Faxon. In fact, Dick presented my letter to the planning board. I was sick that day. And we watched the videotape of the planning board, and they were really short-sighted with the whole thing. They
Okay.
just looked at it, and I was, as far as it went, and they just breezed right over.
Can I see that one, the form one more time?
I think so.
This is,
Oh, that's not the original. I have the original, if you want the original.
no, I'm just looking. Is there an ordinance, a zoning ordinance involved with this?
I don't know.
It's really weird, the law is really weird, it said you have to go to the zoning board, I kept looking over and over, and I'm like, why would the zoning board make them do this? But I don't know, it says you have to.
Well, we're the appeal court,
Okay,
appeals
yeah,
court.
yeah, there you go, so that sounds better, so.
We're, the ZBA was put in to keep these cases out of court if we can.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's why they
Okay,
said
because it's a
that.
lot easier for you to come and bring the stuff to us than it is to file in Superior
Yeah.
Court.
Okay.
Yeah, cause that could be years, they say.
Yeah, and we try to resolve things really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you let them go, that's not good. Okay, I was just looking if there was a decision approved, there's nothing on here that says what you're looking to get out of it, which is fine.
Cause I was under the impression that, you had to fill that paper out to get to be before the board, and then you discussed, that's all the stuff that's written out, what was going on and what's happening.
Yeah, but the more
Permanent
you can get in here, the
Okay,
easier
so
it
we'll
is.
do
That's,
that, okay.
that's why I said if you wanna do an attachment, that's fine.
Sure.
Do you have accessibility to download the minutes from that
Yes,
meeting?
I have all the minutes,
So
yeah.
that you could attach those to your application as well, so that we can see what the planning board said.
Yeah, we can get a hold of those if we.
Yeah, those
There's a
minutes.
lot of information.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also it shows the developer, his response to it, which was basically, no, the water's, it's all going down the other way.
that's
And
Josh speaking for him.
we're not gonna do anything to change
We
that.
could consider doing a joint meeting with the planning board so that we're not holding things. Do they meet every week still, or every
Every
other?
other, or first and third Wednesday.
And we're gonna do it on our time, so, we're not gonna, they can be joint with us, we're not gonna be joint with them, because this is.
No,
we're
no,
taking-
that's what I meant, so that, I don't know I'd like to know what the planning board thought and why.
Well, they should come and defend themselves, basically.
Yeah, cause the minutes, I got all the minutes, and the letter that Vic Faxon read to them from him.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
not
just
included in
include
the
all of that
minutes.
stuff.
Oh, and pictures,
That's
folks.
They didn't include it in the minutes.
That's okay.
Okay.
As many Polaroid pictures as you can get them.
Okay.
It helps us to
What
see.
decade are we in?
Yeah.
Pardon me? What?
Polaroids, what decade are we in now?
Did I say Polaroids?
Yeah,
I
you
said
did.
pictures.
No, you said
I
Polaroid.
said take pictures.
building.
Just messing with you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's assume that this is paid for tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay. How long does it take to notify?
Well, I need about 10 days.
10 days, okay, so in 2 weeks,
I can do
we'll
that.
schedule a hearing?
Yeah.
Is that good with you?
With the planning.
Yeah,
No, we'll just let them know we're doing it.
So
I mean,
you
if
can
we
have-
need to have a second meeting where it's a joint, suspend the hearing and have a joint meeting with the planning board to talk in more detail, then we can do that.
Do we just request them, or do they have to be notified?
So the 22nd.
I was just gonna say, you're looking at the 22nd in 2 weeks.
That's what 2 weeks is.
Do you want it at 6 o'clock again?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I have a feeling it's gonna be a long one.
yeah, 6 o'clock's okay with you?
yeah, that's fine.
You're in up front, so you get
Yep.
decide some of
I'm
this.
retired, it's fine.
And I think somebody from the planning board should be here, or if not all of them.
There's always one here.
Matt's always
Well,
here.
Matt's here, but I'm just saying, someone else.
Poor
Yeah.
Well, I would expect we should get
I
the
keep
chair down.
forgetting that.
Yeah, at least the chair should be here.
Yeah.
I can
Because the
let
engineer
Kyle
can
know.
go back, I mean, a lot of things have to happen in between, but the engineer can revise those drawings.
But I don't think it's up to us to decide
No,
on
it
what they're
isn't.
doing to the drawings, just that it has to stop and it needs to be fixed.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
They have to go with some type of plan, because leaving your neighbor high and dry is not a good thing to do
Right.
right.
in a small town.
But there's no.
When it's not high and dry,
High-
low and
wet
wet.
Low
and
and
dry.
wet.
Wet,
Low and
low and
wet.
wet,
Low and
yeah.
they'd be happy if they were high and
Low
dry.
and wet,
Yeah.
and it might
That's
have,
making a little septic system.
low and wet, and I might have
Not
this
that
stuff.
long.
Okay, so we need to get as much as we can together on this and send it to Joe anytime.
Yeah. Figure out what we can do, or what
He's
can do.
not around this week, so.
Or we can send it off, and then when he gets back to it.
Yeah, he'll look at it.
Lawyer
Now,
fees.
during this, situation, can it be addressed of the town to do some maintenance on the culverts? Because
We wouldn't get involved in that.
they're not in that,
No.
okay,
So that one, what you wanna do is you wanna email John Coons, the
The
road
highway
agent.
department.
Yeah, he would be able to go out and look at and see what needs to be done, see if there's some
Oh,
major.
cool. Hold on, right here. Pencil Park. Okay, so we'll email him, he's just at
that's what
Troy,
they have on there.
yeah,
Jonas, what is his email?
at,
Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I just went off, didn't it? That's fine, that's fine.
mhm.
We took it in public comment, so that's,
It is, his email is, TRY1@troy-nh.us.
Okay.
And if you email him, or you can even call down to the road department, it's usually easier just to email, cause, they might be out on the road already. So, but
He's
you
pretty
can,
good about calling back.
You might ask him to come to that meeting that we're gonna have in 2 weeks, because I'm sure he's interested in that amount of water close
Oh,
to the
yeah.
side
he
of his
doesn't want,
road.
Yeah.
doesn't want his road ruined.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he'll come check out the road, come check out the culverts,
He might
Pretty good
even
about
give
that.
you a letter if you asked him, once he's seen it, that would help us understand,
Oh, yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every bit of evidence that you can get that helps us
Okay,
get you where you need to be.
alrighty.
I'm glad you stopped by.
Yeah, I'm glad you had time
Yeah.
to hear it.
This
Because
is complex enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were concerned when we addressed it the first time, it just seemed like fell on deaf ears. And then we're sitting there, I mean, I don't know whether I should build a moat
I know, yeah.
around my property, so, you know, we can't get any trespassers in, or what.
Water.
Yeah, if nothing else, they should be putting this, I don't know. Not gonna solve the problem. It's not up to me.
Yeah, like I said, I just see the addition of driveways crossing from that land onto South Street. There's gonna be more water flowing down. There might even be a greater need for more culverts heading down.
Actually, according to the driveway ordinance, you can't flow down onto the road. Your driveway has to go up to the road.
Oh,
So that's why I have a culvert right at the edge of my
Yes,
driveway.
because it goes in the
Comes in,
culvert.
comes into the culvert,
Mine too.
goes down,
I got
and
it, yeah.
then it's my neighbor's property, our problem. But we have a nice little thing between us.
I get the opposite. I get all the stuff off the road on my driveway.
I get that on my yard.
I live on a state highway, they take care of my road.
Yeah. Well, the road's fine. It's just, it goes down my driveway and the water just comes down there.
Yeah, and there's one of the very first culvert is on the high side of South Street before it starts dropping off and going down towards Overville Road. It's under the road, but then it went under they had it listed as an old farm road. And I think that culvert's busted because the water is just,
Goes in, doesn't come out.
no, it's coming up to the ground and flowing again onto my property.
tires starting to bust up, must have got frozen underneath. Well, that'll be the road.
We'll deal with it.
Yep.
I'll let John know to look forward for an email from you, so.
Cool.
He'll,
Okay.
once you do, he'll come out and look at it, like I say, he'll come check the culverts. Cause according to even the building permit, or their building thing, there's 3 culverts along the south, one right here, and then one right between you and your neighbor, or right on the neighbor line, somewhere right in this little. So, can't always trust maps, cause you know, it could be just off.
Yeah, so there's four
There's
culverts.
actually 4, there's one not showing on there.
And is your neighbor having the same
Yeah.
problem?
Yes,
Yeah.
he turned around, it wasn't, it was listed as an old farm road. And originally they were taking water from the power line, putting it underneath South Street and underneath the old farm road, and was heading down towards Rockwood Pond through the woods.
What should do?
My neighbor, when he moved in, he
Okay,
decided,
which neighbor are we talking about?
Reeky,
So to your left or to your right?
to my left.
So so
Left-
closer to the
left
power
facing
line.
the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one, this
So
is the old
how
farm.
about this other property here?
I don't know,
What?
I think it goes up so much at that last culvert down the street. The land goes up so much right here. It gets so high right there that I don't think they have a
Nothing
lot of
can get in
water.
there.
But some water, I don't know what's happening with them.
Like I said, they have one culvert and there's like one here, and then, that's just what's on.
Yeah. That's what's
Yeah.
on here, yeah.
Ricky used the old farm road to, move in his home, and they tractor trailered a,
Yeah, so
manufactured
this one.
two-story,
One here, not one here.
3-bedroom home across this dirt road. And then Holman came in with all his heavy equipment to put in his septic system. And that's when that started to leak up water.
What are we looking at here? Is this
That's their site plan.
that's the site?
That's the split of that's the,
This old one.
Yeah, that's the very first one.
Yeah,
But you can see the culverts. They're all on his property, and then the one at the top that's across from the power lines is Reese's land. We'd be the 4th one, because it's dumping.
Okay, so this is you in the middle. Okay, well, we'll get into it in detail, obviously. The important thing right now is to make sure that you've got all the butters right and that the application was ready to go, so we don't get
okay.
hung up on a technicality.
Yeah. Thank you.
You want this too?
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Good. I'll take my book.
Is that your book? I thought that was his.
Where'd the book go? It was right here.
I already have one.
Is this fully up to date?
It's the newest edition.
Three
So we
weeks.
changed
The
them.
problem is that they start passing laws on it.
Yeah.
Which is where we're at now. They're passing all those beautiful
You
new
missed
laws.
one page you can't open, so. I don't want you to
That's
see.
the secret page. I'm not supposed to touch that.
You're not supposed
Oh,
to see
you're
that
not
page.
supposed to see that page? I'm gonna probably
Okay.
open it more case.
Okay, so,
You guys are good?
yeah,
That might be the one
Is
that
that
I
here,
opened.
guys?
Oh, I like, I
Huh?
have like a whole,
Thank
Oh, no, they're all
Yep.
like that.
thank you all
Thank
very
you.
much, appreciate it.
All the books are like that.
so
Yeah,
they glued one page in?
I had to, they sent out the books with a separate page, so
Oh.
it's just a revised page.
Oh,
That's-
it's an override.
Yeah.
We were stumped.
Now you wanted to see what they're covering up.
Yeah,
You're trying to peel it
Sure.
apart.
Where are they
But
cutting
you
it
know
up?
there's something.
Okay.
I mean, if you peel it apart, I'm not putting it back together.
What are they hiding?
Everything.
That's
Alright.
Okay. Any correspondence?
If you want, there are those Southwestern Regional Planning Commission letters that we get monthly.
Yeah, I'll take them.
Okay. They are addressed to you, so.
Oh. At least one group got the right name.
There's one thing missing from this meeting agenda.
The minutes.
No, the election of officers.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No, it's on there.
Where?
Reorganization, I don't have it with me. New business.
Oh. Oh, yeah, right there.
Oh, wow. Meeting results / zoning board roster.
Yeah, that.
That's how I do it for the
I
planning board.
I interpreted that. I looked at them and said, yeah, okay, that's good. All right, any old business? Actually, let's just do the election of officers. We usually do that first.
I nominate you.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Who's next?
Which we nominate you for?
What?
Chair, right?
Chair.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
Oh,
You
we
didn't
didn't-
know
oh.
what you were saying.
Okay, I'm nominated.
Well, I didn't
What's
say
the
chair.
We're gonna have to do another motion.
You don't know what you just accepted for one.
Yeah, right. You
You're
don't
still
know.
getting mango.
Okay.
Alright.
It happens when you just jump all
right
over
off.
something.
Oh, we start with that and work down. Okay, vice chair. Ooh. He's like, no, I'm not here.
Justin?
I'll take it again, so.
I nominate Justin.
I got a second?
I will second it.
Okay. Justin's a good man.
I guess not.
He is.
All right. Further discussion? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
Was that an aye?
That was nice, sorry.
To yawn.
I was yawning too.
Okay. What's the title we're using? Secretary?
I think it's technically clerk.
It is clear.
Yeah,
Clerk. Okay, clerk.
I nominate Jody.
Huh?
Any discussion? I second you second.
What did you?
I need a second.
Okay.
You were nominated.
Who seconded?
For what?
Clerk.
Clerk.
No,
I second.
Oh,
that's her job. She's the clerk.
I'm
No,
the secretary.
She's the
No,
secretary.
she's a secretary.
She's not a board member. There's an official board member position of clerk.
I'm afraid I don't have the time.
I do most of the work.
Yeah,
You do most of the work.
yeah, she takes all our minutes and stuff.
You get a fancy title.
But you're actually responsible for what she does.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
really?
when I mess up, we.
They'll blame it on me. Sure as shit.
Oh no, it's okay. I'm used to people blaming it on me.
He seconded it, not me this time.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't have time for this post that you've all put me in. But to that end, I'll help her do whatever she needs.
I think she helps you do it.
Huh?
I think she helps you do it.
No, I said I don't have the time to be the person.
But I do the minutes and all the postings.
She said she does everything. Oh, all right.
You'll just be available for consultation.
I already am that for her.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nope.
Okay. The ayes have it. Town meeting results, zoning board roster. So we didn't have any changes.
There's,
Oh,
I
no,
think
we
there's
didn't,
the-
but the planning board had a few.
Right.
Okay, I'm just looking at, we're the
Yes.
same crew as last year here.
This is gonna be homework for everyone.
Even though somebody tried to run away from us.
Someone tried to run away from what?
From the board. You wanted to be on the planning board.
I wasn't gonna run away from you. They're not held on the same night you guys meet.
No, but you cannot be on both.
Yes, you can.
No, you cannot. Only person who can is the appointed member from the planning board.
And he's an ad hoc member, he's not.
Well, that's not what I was told by the people that met with me and asked me to run for that position.
Well,
So I am
they
telling
were
you.
uninformed.
They misinformed you.
Well, we
Because-
talked about this a couple weeks ago and you agreed that that was correct a
The
couple
only,
weeks ago.
like I said, the only one who can is the person that's appointed from the planning board. So if you wanted to go to the planning board, you would no longer be a ZBA member unless the planning board opted for you to be the person. So as Matt, this year you got reelected as this one, right?
Yeah.
Put on this. So he got pushed to being the planning board's member on the ZBA. So he is not a ZBA member as a ZBA member, just like I am not a ZBA member, I
I
am
understand
a
your,
selectman.
I understand that.
So it's kind of the only two that are,
I think it's pretty much the only prohibition in elected offices, other than the select board can't be anything
Any
else.
land use board, thing for conservation, DDA, planning,
You can't be on two.
historical district, and there's a couple
which we don't
others.
have that, I don't think.
Yeah, but we don't have them.
There's quite a few other ones, but any of those land use ones, you're only allowed to be on one unless you are the appointed of that board you sit
Alright,
on.
there's a-
Which doesn't stop you from running for the other ones.
No,
And it's not something where you have to resign all your boards if you're running.
only if it's at the same time, the election
You
time.
can't run, yeah, like, you can't run for two boards that are incompatible.
Yeah.
It's like you can't run for the ZBA and the selectmen at the same time.
And so who gave you that advice?
It's an RSA.
That's an RSA.
Yeah, it's an RSA.
If you'd like to read all the RSAs, a lot of them are BS and
Right.
junky, but
It's
there
probably
are
right in the
RSAs.
red book here.
I know. Split that crap.
It might be on
That's
that
the,
one.
that's the part
Actually-
they're hiding.
Actually, at one point, Abby questioned me on that, and I sent her the excerpt from the,
Yeah, I have it in my email somewhere.
yeah, she can send that to you.
Wasn't sure.
That's what's
And does Troy enforce that, or is the planning board still short?
We do enforce it because we do not want to have a legal issue.
Well, because it would nullify any.
It would nullify any votes on either side. And that would be very, very, very bad.
Very bad.
Very bad.
Because then someone could come in and get their way with the town and not, it wouldn't be good.
Right.
Okay, anything else on new business? Okay, I had a thought, which should scare all of you. Over the winter, to change our rules and procedures to remove the should have known out of the 30-day requirement. And just make it 30 days for whatever happened. So it's much clearer. Remember we got into that thing where they said, well, we didn't know about it, and we said you should have known, and like, well,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to avoid that in the future.
Well, but we can't change language unless the town voted to change it, right?
No, we can, those are our rules and procedures, we can vote on them and change them anytime we want.
They're not actual town ordinances.
That's not an ordinance, it's just the way we work.
It's procedural. Yeah.
Procedures.
Thank you.
So if anybody's in favor of that, we could make a motion to do it,
I'll make a motion to do it.
okay?
Second.
Okay, seconded. Any further discussion? Do you want me to clarify what it says now is that it has to be filed within 30 days of when you should have known that something happened. And that gets fuzzy.
I understand.
So you're just trying to say, okay, 30 days.
No, I agree, it's, you know,
Somebody
the
issues a
more
building
people-
permit on January 1st, you have till January 30th to file against it.
Keeps it cleaner.
Yeah. And that keeps them from dragging out. Well, I didn't know it until January 29th, and now they get
Yep.
another 30 days, and, you know, if somebody's in the middle of building a house and has to stop, that's a long way in. Since houses spring up.
And how do you prove you didn't know?
Was that?
And how do you prove that you didn't know?
Right, it's too fuzzy. Okay, so all in favor of the change?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So I will type up a revision and sign it, send it to you, and then Justin will stop by and sign it. Or we can just eliminate the vice chair from the document. I'm not sure if there's any real.
Leave it there. They can sign it whenever you can get into it.
Okay. I mean, on other boards, the whole board signs
If nothing,
something
you
like that.
can make him sign it during the next meeting.
DocuSign it too.
I don't have that.
Tell you everything to do it.
Hate that.
Trust me. It makes it easier when you don't have to call on everybody to sign
Yeah.
one
Well,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, DocuSign.
Have Jeremy help you with that.
Yeah.
Actually, they've been using Dick's DocuSign.
Yeah.
And it does help because you just get an email and you can go in and sign it and it comes back out to Evie and it's good to go. Have you done that, DocuSign?
I have.
Yeah, I've done a
For
lot.
the budget committee.
I think I bought my house on DocuSign. Signed all the papers. Yeah. Well, in the meantime, we'll do I'll get you something in a couple days, hopefully.
Okay, no worries.
And I'll let Justin know that it's here. And then you can scan it in, send me a copy with the signatures and put it up on the website.
Yeah.
I like
Cool.
the new website, so
Was that?
the new website for the town of Troy.
Yeah.
Got a couple things being fixed on, but it's
I
still.
like
Oh, it's upgraded.
I'm trying.
I like
Yeah,
the
not only your
scope.
stuff, there's other stuff that needs to be updated.
No, I mean, zoning and planning ordinances aren't on there, right? Because some people can't
And
find
look
them.
at the calendar for
Where would I find
everything.
Where they claim they can't find them
It's
anymore.
almost updated.
Oh, they're under town work.
Oh, I
Right.
know. But certain people in this town have claimed that they're. Where is it? I don't know.
Oh, well.
Where's what?
The zoning ordinances and planning, all that.
That's when you walk into the town hall and you say, I need to see this.
But
And
people
they
have
say, oh,
claimed,
it's here you
well,
go.
it's inaccessible. You didn't stop by the town hall, you didn't go online.
They could call us.
Yeah. You could probably email it to somebody.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the web,
I download them all the time. I read
the
them.
zoning isn't up on the website?
Yeah,
It is.
Okay.
It's all there.
PDF.
I like it anyways. I like the website.
I
Okay.
agree.
Anything else on new business?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Okay.
So second.
All in favor?
I
Okay, moving on. Planning board update, you wanna do one, Matt?
Well, since our last meeting, we had,
You wanna send that doc back up to me too?
yes. So
Unless you
that
wanna-
is
Unless you wanna talk about it.
I think that we've already had quite a bit of discussion about it. I will say though that the issues that we brought up about the water flow, again, did send an email Dick, and Dick did read out that email concerning those same issues at our, I think it was our second meeting in February. And we talked to the developer about it. And one of the key thoughts on the planning board was that the culverts are, that's the road highway department responsibility, that we could not require the developer of the subject property to make changes to the town's goals. And we also
I
were
can see that.
listening to an engineer talk about where the water flow was and what the drastic change would be and what the topographical lay of land was, that we aren't going to have the means to be able to verify claims about, first of all, just how much water has been going over there in the past versus what's going over there now, and that some of these culverts might actually be taking water off of this property. That was also brought up. So there was, again, they're concerned about it, and so there was quite a bit of discussion about this particular issue. There was a lot of discussion about a lot of issues with the thing. He came in with 3 or 4 different renditions of the plan. Started off trying to put in 8 units of the first plan, and we had to tell him that's not going to work, and get him down to what the final approved.
That wind?
Yes. The wind of not sealed, don't know which one it is, or both.
Okay.
Kind of something to wait until in that discussion or whatever. And again, being another issue that planning boards are supposed to take the word of professionals, licensed engineers who, if they misrepresent stuff, are going to lose their license versus laypersons. That, so we're again, obviously you can see what they bring in. I mean, this board obviously makes a decision, but that is the basic, short version of how planning board said that we were aware of the issue, but that we did not see compelling evidence for us to deny the subdivision based on what was presented to us.
So this says that prior to the signing of the plan, the applicant will provide, was all that provided?
The subdivision checklist?
Documentation relating to the ownership, maintenance, and use of open space, yada yada.
So,
Approved town of Troy driveway permits, copy of state subdivision septic approval.
no.
No. So this isn't really a valid plan yet.
I
valid or
have
incomplete?
that same exact argument, but he's not able to get his driveway permit.
So that's.
Basically, we were in a, you can't do one step until the other, that you have to have the plan filed to be able to make.
That's step one. Step
That's
two
step one, so
is to file all his plans.
Hmm.
But once he subdivides, technically you don't need to submit a plan for a house anymore. He will need to submit for driveway permits, he will need to submit for, with the state, septic tank plans, cause he's clearly not hooking up to the water and sewer, cause he's too far.
gotta have septic, yeah.
So he's gonna have
And
wells, septic plans and all that, and those will come to the selectmen with building permits, for the building permits.
I just question the way this is written, like, you seem to also.
Yes, so
You know,
that's
it's
one
like,
of the things
what is this actually, notice of decision, what is it deciding
So-
on when it still has conditions attached that haven't been?
Correct. So the argument was that if the conditions do not get met, that the plan is not valid, but that we needed to sign the plan for him to be able to proceed to the state to be able to get the,
So it's like a circular.
yes, exactly,
Which
exactly.
doesn't sound quite 100%.
Exactly, because I believe that we have passed for planning board decisions where there is, conditional approval, that we vote on it, and then we wait for them to bring in the paperwork.
Yeah, and then you
And
say,
then
okay,
we
then
sign,
it's.
exactly, so we don't take any further action, but it doesn't get signed until all the paperwork comes in. I believe is how we have.
And but that's not what this is saying, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, this is really confusing, you should have just approved the subdivision, because there's no conditional use permit.
Yes, there is conditional use permit. Oh, is that for the plan or for just the conditional use? Because this
That,
is a
is that for conditional
conservation
use?
subdivision. And we approved waivers to conservation subdivision. So usually with a conservation subdivision, you are required to put in an interior road. And that they're not supposed to have the driveways exiting onto a town road. And then the other condition there was that part of conservation subdivision, that they're going to be open space that will be left undisturbed, and that's going to be, written called a deed for these properties, that they're all part owners of this, apart from that, they can't develop.
Sounds like a mess to me.
Yeah, it does. Did you get,
I'm not,
did you get legal opinion on any of this stuff?
I'm gonna say no.
we did not get
Okay.
legal opinion on all of that.
So is this conservation land?
There,
Because it's a more than 5 lot subdivision.
do we have,
Or it's 5 lot or more. Subdivision has to be conservation subdivision. I'm sorry. Kinda.
yes, that was the interpretation of the board.
Yeah.
I do not believe that is
Where the hell we are.
verbatim what,
That's,
that was what the interpretation of the board was, so that's what we're gonna go with.
I thought he was sleeping.
it's like, dude, I'm out of here, this is so confusing.
Do we,
This is really
do
confusing.
we have some, final plan?
Mhm.
Either acceptable, that would be,
I'll check to see.
I don't wanna look at them now.
okay,
Bring it up at the next
basically,
meeting.
in that.
I just wanna know what's where at this
In
point.
that corner, there is land being left undeveloped, and then they're putting in 6 building lots, which is including where there's already a house, so
22% of the land must be open, no slope should be greater than 12%. Which if they're grading the land, they're gonna beat 12% easily.
documents.
Do you have, Abby, do you have all this stuff electronically?
I can send it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
So basically, for what the conditional use was, for the conservation subdivision, we did not require them to put in an interior road. That would have required going through wetlands and a significant amount of disturbance. So this plan for conservation subdivision is to conserve and not disturb wetlands and other features. This was a better method of accomplishing this. And then the other part of that was a waiver from the requirement about the area being set aside for conservation. And that has to do with the landscape for wetland area, that strict conformity would have just basically made the property undevelopable. Having reasonable property lines, again, if you saw the different iterations of the plan,
Okay. Now, we're gonna get deeper into this going forward, I believe. But I think one of our challenges on this thing is gonna be to stay in the right lane. Okay, we need to look at just we're not looking at the whole subdivision, we're just looking at the problems generated from it.
Sticking to the application.
You know, where the boundary lines on the lots and stuff is not important to what we're doing. Just keep it focused.
Sounds like it was a bit of a struggle, just, that to listen to you say what the board went through,
So,
trying to work it.
so did you come in for the last meeting in January or the first one in February? So the representative for the developer within 4 or 5 meetings with us
I've been watching them.
from where they
It's
started.
Something
and
else.
And they kept changing it?
They kept changing it when they received feedback.
Yep.
Oh, that's good, they were working with the board.
I think 4 different plans were submitted.
Yeah.
Around
Hey.
there, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
3 or 4. I kind of lost count because then some of them were minor changes, but it went from having 8 lots that were going to be all 2 acres or greater, but they were going to be like going to a point and having a lot of the lot be less than 50 feet wide. Basically trying to cut as many houses into that lot as possible.
So you can open the window and touch your neighbor, basically.
0 lot lines.
They were all going to have a buildable area, but it was, if you looked at it,
Yeah, I listened to all the meetings.
and then
It's
they
crazy.
have other, with the horseshoe shaped lot and everything.
It's
And
crazy.
yes,
I wouldn't buy a house up there.
so that's
That's just me though.
where that's what we went through with that, for that topic.
Alright, let's.
Most of our meetings.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I have to go a little early tonight. My dog is ill, and I came here. I need to get back.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with everything.
Are they going forward with that West Hill variance?
I haven't gotten anything.
Okay.
I haven't gotten any variance stuff.
Yeah.
I would assume yes, but
Another issue which maybe select board would speak more to is that that they've been working on a flow chart or whatever, and I believe that we are now working with that the planning board has to deny them before they can come to the area.
Okay, I got one more question for everybody. Is anybody aware that the,
You mean the town did?
hmm?
You mean the
Well,
town
the
approved
town,
it?
the town, it was from the planning board and the town approved it at the town meeting, that them to give exceptions to requirements. Was that solar or something like that?
We were changing the language on waivers, and conditional use permit.
When I looked at that, I said, ooh, that's a ZBA thing that they just decided they can do.
Be quiet over here. This is pretty quiet.
Who submitted that? At town meeting?
Planning board?
Planning board submitted that at town meeting?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, it was a warrant article.
Right.
Warrant article put in by the planning board. It followed all legal litigation. I mean, technically the town can approve that type of thing, and they did. Again, town didn't do their research on every one of these things because they approved a lot of them that I don't think people actually paid attention to. They just went, yeah, let's just do it.
I think, well, it was a rough night.
That almost looks like something that could cause appeals.
Oh, it will.
Well-
They just open it up for more. But, hey,
If people do their research. Some people don't do their research.
Well, I have to apologize, because the first time I noticed that was at town meeting. If I'd seen it before, I probably would have
So,
done some research.
even though it was changed by the planning board, don't we still have the option of reversing the language here?
No, because the town voted on it. I don't think
Correct,
it's
that
changed.
was,
But if somebody,
Slow project.
somebody wanted to appeal their decision to grant a waiver, we could certainly hear that.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So I guess it's not totally usurped, there's still a
Exactly, and that
appeal
was
process.
specific to, specific to
Which
conditional
article
use.
was that, TJ?
put them right in there real quick. Article 2. Which was waivers. The board may waive or modify any part of these regulations or impose responsible conditions if it believes that the specific circumstances of the proposed justify such action, that the waiver aligns with the spirit and intent of these regulations.
Which article was?
2.
No, not,
Oh, which
which article
zoning,
was it?
That's under the solar energy, 12 F, particularly 3. I'm in F6, so originally it was
So
put
it
in
only
there.
pertains to the solar, and not everyone across the board for planning board.
yeah.
Correct, this is not,
Okay,
this
I was
isn't,
like-
this isn't the entire ordinance, this
Okay.
is, because we had language in there to allow waivers before. And then when we were dealing with the, proposed solar projects, especially up on Bigelow Hill, that the language that we had permitting us to grant waivers was being considered to be confusing.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Maybe the door will open.
That's someone trying the door.
The front door is open.
Yeah.
No,
The back door
The
closes.
back door.
It closes itself pretty well.
yeah,
It's the front door that doesn't always.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, I don't think we should necessarily do anything about it.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't wanna have to sue the town over, over that. That would be interesting.
I don't have a copy of that previous,
Oh, okay.
So you're using that door to go in and grab something? I knew I heard a door open, I'm like, I hate it.
It's an old building, you never know.
Haunted.
It is
I've been in here late at night and there's nothing else in here. Just,
There's gotta be some creepy noises in here at night.
Yep.
there are.
100% yes.
Go to the church school, you'll hear all kinds of creepy noises.
Kids running through the halls, you know.
Black.
Giggling.
We should do a Halloween camp out in the attic.
The school is haunted.
Oh,
Town.
that place is weird.
When I worked the night shift, I heard kids laughing.
Next,
Okay, that's it. I got nothing else. Anybody have anything?
No,
Okay.
I'll give you a quick update for the selectmen. Everything's the same except
yeah.
Curtis is now the chair. And the boards and committees stay the same except we added transfer station, which went to Curtis.
that was quick.
Okay.
And
He's got the hearing date that we set, right? So that'll show up on the minutes.
And I'll notice everything by the end of the week.
Yeah. When it's time. It sounds like they're gonna move quick.
No, I have to, it has to be in the paper by Saturday. For it to meet the deadline.
Okay. We're still doing papers.
I mean, we bill them for it, so it's a wash.
you technically could just do the website and still bill the same price.
I know. It does say newspaper. I have a moral issue with that, I guess.
A publication.
Change the verbiage to digital.
Yeah.
Just a publication, that's all you have to do.
Okay, next regular meeting is July 8th. We'll have meetings before then. And we're adjourned.